sound, cameras. Hey, Jurgen. Hey, Ben. You're on my lawn first. Don't make me torch it. Hey, Shane first in here. Yeah, yep. Forgot my hat, so you guys get to see my mop. Adam, long time. Are you even old enough to be complaining about people on your lawn, Ben? So I figured there's going to be another fire pit live stream, you know, at some point in the not too distant future. And I've complained about it a couple of times during my previous live streams that I don't have a fire poker. So today I'm making a fire poker. Now let's just see if I can remember how to do that. I'm starting with a half-inch bar, square bar. You can be grumpy at any age. I thought about going up to 3/4 bar, but then I was like, that is really heavy. I figure I'll start with half-inch bar, and then if I don't like the nature of the handle feel in my hand, which of course the handle won't be much of anything right out the gate, I can work on a basket hilt and forge weld and do all the things that one is supposed to figure out how to do as a blacksmith for that process. A couple of shows worth of content anyway. So, Kevin, let's see. And yeah, John says he's actually going to get some stuff done in his shop. Heat, beat, taper, pound, smoosh, bend, wire brush, oil. Yep, that sounds about like the right process. Thanks, Shane. I got glare, like way too much glare on my screen. Let's see if I can fix that. Of course, you got glare behind my head. That just means grumpy old, right? Although I always thought 50 was about the time of middle age, but I'm 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 saying that because I'm now 55 and I don't want to consider myself old yet. All right, let's start with a taper because that's what I'm going to fold back to then be the let me put this back in the fire. Let me actually draw this so I can think about what it is I want it to be doing. And to draw it, all I really have to do is go get the existing one. So let's do that real quick. I have made one of these before already. Let's give it a brush, since it has been sitting in the dirt. This is my, I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras real quick so you can see it. Uh-oh, this camera is doing its thing. Hold on, I'll fix it. There we go, reboot it. And Smithy. So, for being able to mess with the bonfire when we're burning boxes and such, I made this one out of a long piece of rebar. hold it up to the light, you can see the outline of it really well. And it does a great job. And basically I want to create another one like it. Maybe not to that scale, but like it. So let me brush it off so I can just take a better look at it. But I was pretty proud of the result of this one, the outcome. I'll go ahead and rest it there, there. Let's see if we can get an anvil to show up in my camera. Nope. There we go. Hey, look at that. We have a camera again. So there's the pretty part that does the work. That's what I want to make. So grab my chalk. Back here where I don't actually do a whole lot of work, we'll just go ahead and draw something that approximates what I want. Just so I can have something to stare at, because I'm a very visual person. In my mind's eye, I can visualize things, but it's a lot easier if I just have a picture of it. That's about right. I might get a little bit more swoopy because, you know, ornamental. Why not? Like that. Are you seeing that? Not, of course, not right yet. You're not. There we go. A little more swoopy. I was sharing with the gang that, as you guys have probably figured out by now, I'm in either an plan like hell or hardly planned at all. And most of the time what you're seeing on the channel is hardly planned at all. Get out here and figure out what I'm going to make when I get out here. But this one I thought up before I got out here, because I was like, I'm tired of not having a poker when I'm working and when I'm sitting around the fire pit chit-chatting with you guys. So now we're going to get a poker together. Let's see. It's real easy. If you just do Jack at jackpinesblacksmithing.com, you'll be fine. You could actually put anything you want before that @ symbol, so if he wants to get creative. I typically use the bit that comes before the @ symbol for the domain of whoever I'm handing my email address to, so that if their database gets hacked, I will know which database it was by the domain involved, or if they've sold my name or whatever. So went straight to decomposing. Hey, Jeff. Yeah, it's a nice hook, right? It does a good job. I can definitely move some brush around with that one. I'm not sure which pics you sent me, Ben, but if you're talking about the nudes, it wasn't for me. Thanks. All right. Let's just get this back over here and start that initial taper. Actually, let me think about this. Do I start the taper? I'm trying to remember the right order of this thing, of how I did it. I think I started the taper of this bit here. Yes. I started the taper of this bit here. Then I folded it back on itself, leaving about, you know, an inch left on what's folded back, so that I could then forge that taper. So that's what I recall from the process. That's what we're going to try and do right now. If it turns out to be the wrong process, it just means I get another live stream. You paid me for the nudes? No. And I sure as heck didn't pay you. Still handsome. That's good to know. Oh, it has to be a Gmail account? Got it. That's easy too. But I will send that separately. I don't hand that one out over the air. It's good to have confidence there, Rob. Don't let Ben yuck your yum. All right, let's start that taper. Now we're going to do it the way I've seen so many accomplished Smiths do it. That is, leave the bulb on the end so we're not losing all that heat. All right, we're going to get more heat. But that worked pretty well so far. It also means I don't end up with a folded over point. That's the real reason to do it from what I've experienced. I'm not sure about the heat part, but that's what somebody said, so I'm going to go with it. Now I was doing a two-sided taper there, which is ridiculous. That's definitely not necessary. So we'll go ahead and do a rotating taper next, so I can have lumps on all sides instead of just the two. Why is that good? I don't know. Probably just a flow thing. All right. But I do have some pretty big lumps on that side, so. I see the benefit. Oh my goodness, that's pretty cool. Doesn't have to be a sharp point. We're pretty much to where I need to be. That's a really cool practice. Keep that in the arsenal. Just cleaning it up. Looks good. All right. That worked out great. All right, so I'm going to heat it back up again just so I can clean it up just a hair bit more, but that actually came out really well. That process was really cool, and I got absolutely no, yeah, no, I do see one there. I don't know if you can see it in the, let me zoom in. I was going to say, I don't see the fold over crack that I've often seen in my work, but I can see it in the glare there. Same glare you're seeing, so I could probably file that out, but I'm not even going to worry about it at this point. I'm just going to heat it up and clean it up. In other words, make it so that the transitions are pretty well smooth, all the way up to the back to the base metal again. Feels good to be able to work on a long bar stock again, so I can actually hold the material I'm working on instead of having to hold tongs. Hey, Rob. Welcome to the party. Got a good crowd here today. There was some... Scrolling back. There it is. That's what I thought. Mr. Brunel's even on here, but he's too busy to talk to us. I appreciate that, but if you need to hit him to know something, post it and I'll read it back. And what does this say? Get your Brian Brazil on, right? I'm no Brian Brazil, but I have definitely learned a lot from the people he's taught, and some from him. I'd love to see more of his content. Oh, yeah, that's what I was afraid would happen. And I just realized something. Do I normally leave that square, or did I round that up last time? I leave it square. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and... just crisping up the edges because I like the way it looks, not because it's necessary. You do as much effort as you want to put into your work to make it to meet your standards. There is absolutely no real reason to have sharp, crisp edges on this thing that I'm going to fold back and curl, except I want it. Now the question is, did I give myself enough material to create the curl I want? Yes, I did. I think I want the taper to come back just a little bit more, so I'm going to put it deeper into the fire to get this section hot, hopefully, not this section, because I started to burn that section. I don't know if you saw that when it came out of the fire, but honestly, since I had a little cold shut there, it didn't hurt my feelings to see it. There you go, Ben. No standards. That fixes... I am making... Hey, brother and sister. I am making a fire poker because I've sat out by the fire a couple times during these live streams when I didn't, back was giving me trouble or some crap like that, and didn't have a fire poker, and I was like, I'm a blacksmith. Why don't I have a fire poker? So I'm taking this design that I made previously. I'm going to switch cameras. This design I made previously and that I use for the fire pit when we're burning boxes or brush or whatever. And you can see it's a nice long piece of rebar. Stay away from the big fire. Anyway, I'm taking this design and then go to the anvil again. Focus in. and I've shrunk it so that I can then make it for a human-sized fire poker. Or something Ben can handle. So bring it back over here where I'll actually do the forging. All right. Hey, Daniel, you pop in and out as often as you'd like. Leave a like on the live stream if you've got a chance. That would be great. Neighbors doing some work. Hey, good neighbors. Basically, it is just a big stick, except this big stick has the ability to pull things towards you if you need to. That's why I like the hook. I know there are other folks who have made fire pokers. I just watched somebody make a fire poker out of um, a railroad spike, and when he was all said and done, I was like, "There's no way I'm going to make a fire poker out of a railroad spike." I gave it. I did consider it, just because that's way too short of a fire poker and doesn't have the part I like that allows me to pull the log towards me. So, yeah, that's right. The shoemaker gets the worst pair of shoes, and blacksmiths don't have fire pokers. It just doesn't make sense, does it? It's because you make a fire poker and somebody says, "Ooh, that's nice," and then you hand it to them because you don't want to have to go right out and make them one. Oh yeah, I made that. Could you make me one? Well, here, have this one. You have women, plural. And oh, that was singular, wasn't it? Sorry about that. Don't want to get you in trouble with the wife. No one visits. Well, Jane, my wife and I have already decided we're going to have to make a road trip next time we come down to visit the Grands. So get prepared. You might have to share a beer, show off that amazing tap system you got. I mean, fingers crossed and all goes the way we expect. Yeah, Ben, I hear you. All right, let's go ahead and pull that paper back just a little bit. All right, I think that's got it. Now it's probably longer than it needs to be, but that's okay. Worst that'll happen is I'll fold it back and I'll decide that I didn't need it that long. So the next part, if I remember correctly, involves cutting it, but not all the way through, so that I can then fold it back without an issue. Now, another way to do it is just to fold it over the side, and the risk with that is this area here ends up getting not closing up as tightly. And I'm trying to remember which way I did it with that one. I don't think it really matters. Either way, it's got to get hot. Let's do that next, and I'll think about what I want to do next. Get pretty far in the fire, so I'm not heating the wrong thing. I don't think this goes down any further now. My tool stand is just a little bit taller than it needs to be. That'll do. It just means I have to pull the coal over the top. And that's fine. There we go. Hi, Bruce. Bruce is out here with his fireproof Carhartt. Oh, there went the camera again. Easy to fix, but annoying. Maybe I'll put it in a different slot and see what happens. That is this one. We'll hit that. We'll see if we can make this behave. Cam link. Wrong one. Right one. Okay. All right. Let's see if it makes a difference by putting it into a different port. All right, that was a lot of words. It's on the main screen, so Ben's might have been put in timeout, but we'll see. Ah, you guys got chatty for a second there. Shane's never home. Black Friday, I may grab another $300 worth of Goose Island stouts. Nice. I like Goose Island. I also, if I remember correctly, Goose Island also does a great Gosa. Leaky faucets, yeah. I'm pretty much as high educated as you can get in irrigation design, auditing, and design. When the people called the city for help, I was the person they sent. Do you think I have a sprinkler one? Yeah. All right. So let's get this warmed up. I'm cooking up some new coal here. Green coal. So we'll see some smoke bellow. Good. Cleaned out my forge this morning and discovered I need to replace another brick or two in here. That'll be something I do next week, perhaps, before I get started, if I remember. Take care, Alexis. Thanks for stopping by. Moss agate, nice. Where I live, if I need irrigation, I'd be shocked. About the truth of it though is on the one time that I could actually use irrigation is the summer dry months when I want to actually grow a garden. But I don't know anything about gardening, so for all I know, I probably should be growing one now. Early spring, early to late fall. Have two growing seasons, spring and fall. That's what I probably should do, but I don't know what I'm doing with when it comes to growing things. All right. Let's see. Which way do I want to do it? I think I'm going to go ahead and be lazy. I'm going to bend it. And do it this way. The fold over method. That was my toe. Nothing like a 3-pound hammer on your pinky toe. See if I can continue folding it over. Probably not. Let's heat it back up again. I'll clean it and I'll fold it and I'll flux it. So we can hopefully, actually we'll flux it first so we can hopefully stop having scale forge on there. And a key with flux is you probably should have dry flux. Let's keep our fingers crossed that this flux is dry. Since the lid was not on fully, yes, it's dry. And then, of course, the spoon is not dry, but I'm sure I have a shop rag here somewhere that I should go get, but instead, we'll just do this. Hey, look at that. It's dry-ish. Need to give it a wire wheel and a new coat of beeswax. All right. Evaporate. Road trip? Help you move? If I could get the time off, Jay, I would. There seems to be a real problem here at this point with me being the only guy that knows most of the tech. Sorry, little jumping spider, you need to go. Thank you. With my buddy having decided to move on to greener pastures, I'm basically the only person here that understands anything about what he was building. They laid off all the other people, and then he was like, "You think this is enough for just me and my pal to deal with? Here, let me make that even harder." Oh, there's supposed to be some folks in India that understand it, but they don't. Proven by what I discovered this week. They I could go into detail. I don't want to berate them or anything. That's not the point. The point is the tech was stood up with the intention of having this team of people grow to understand the tech with his mentorship over the course of a few years. And then they decided to lay off all the people who was growing to learn that tech. So let's get it cleaning. Let's go ahead and flux it real quick. And hopefully that will stop more scale from forming. That's all it's for, in case people didn't understand what flux is for. It helps metal flow. If you're doing, what's it called? Soldering. And it helps to keep the metal clean when you do welding. It's the same reason why we use gases with our electric welders, to keep oxygen away from the metal. This is probably going to be too big. I probably folded way too much material here, but I'm not going to be too upset by it. All right. I think that's a clean enough fold. We should be able to get a good forge weld there and then open it back up again. We'll know because I have to open it back up to get that bended form that I want. Get back in there again. Our light's too glary now. Let's see if I can help. There we go. To get this bended form in here, I have to actually pry it back up, right? And so that'll stress the weld and show us whether or not it was done well or not. So into the fire. The fact is, I'm actually going to pull a Roy at this point. I'm going to get this fire looking about the color I want before I put the metal in, so more oxygen isn't being pushed at the metal. See if Roy's advice on that topic, he wasn't talking about welding, but I have a suspicion it will be beneficial in this concern. No, Jay, I honestly just don't pay attention to anything on Facebook anymore. I have my Facebook page so that people can actually follow my live streams. And if somebody tags me, I'm all about it. But I don't spend time streaming, scrolling on Facebook anymore. There's too much junk mixed in with the stuff I actually give a damn about. You're going to need help? Uh-oh, I better scroll back and see what in the world Ben said. Don't use raised planter beds? Interesting. Plant them in the ground. When does them? Okay, I mean, here in Pacific Northwest, that probably works out pretty well. He'll be here in a minute because I said the flux word. Oh, unfortunately, he is the role he's in is not one where he can use me yet. I don't know if he ever will be able to use me, but he's in there basically maturing their product architecture. What they built works great. I mean, it's doing the job, and I'm learning that, over time, that a lot of successful businesses start with the equivalent of ad hoc, put it together, make it work, like I would if I had to build something around here. But then after a while, you call in the pros who know how to properly frame and how to properly run electrical and how to properly, hang sheetrock and finish. And, there's all the proper ways of doing things that allows for a structure to be have longevity. And that's what he's doing now, is he's working with them on that. If there comes a point where he gets the maturity of the product up, and he needs the support of myself, I'll be happy to jump in there and work with him again. But there's no space there for me right now. And they need me here, so this is where I am. They need me enough to actually have complied with my demands for sticking around. They weren't crazy demands, by the way. They were just enough to say, you're not going to lay me off. As soon as India knows what in the world I know. All right, I'm going to brush it off. It's looking a good color, but it's not forge color yet, forge welding color yet. But it does mean I get to clean it. More flux to prevent scale building up on the inside if it can seep in there, which I can watch it melt here and see that it should end up seeping in there. And then back into the forge. Biggest reason I pulled it out is I was afraid that I was getting it too hot, because I was starting to see the heat travel up the taper that I had already made and folded back. It's very concerning. I don't want to burn that. Get out of the way. Sorry about that. But when hot metal goes moving on its own volition, I move. So let's try that again. Yeah. And that might be the end of that USB cable. Let's try putting it back in there. Yeah, I think that USB cable just died. We'll see in a minute. Nope, we're good. Yay. It was exciting for a second there. Oh, that's awesome, Jay. I mean, how can I put it? I know that it's both good and bad. It's not what Karen wants, and it's you know, it may not be everything you're hoping for. I'm hoping you guys see the you know, could find all the good out of that. The family business definitely can use you. You know, you learned, and I think might have actually stepped beyond what Dad could teach you. So you guys will definitely be not be hurting. That's for sure. You got a good reputation. You've earned it. Both you and him. Now if you can just find good help. You've had a lot of experience with that now too, so I suspect you might have a better time of it than he did. That's right. That's right. Thank you, Adam. It is not metal glue. It is in no way shape metal glue. It's probably in the way of making the metal glue. It's just also in the way of the oxygen getting in the way of making the metal glue. And what it will do, as it will do in a gas forge, is it will corrode other materials around it. But these are replaceable fire bricks for a reason. We've got the right color in the forge for being able to do this. I have no reason to believe it won't work. I just don't want to burn off that prong I just made. And I don't think I will because I'm watching the tip of it. The fact is, it might get hot, but it shouldn't get burnt. The heat has to travel. Oh, yeah, that's the right color. I don't know if you guys can... of course, we lost the camera again, so clearly changing which USB port it was in didn't help. What a shame. Let's do this again. And I forgot to do the other setup stuff, so you're not seeing any of the good stuff. I'm glad you guys are all patient with me. Hell, I didn't even have the right angle of the camera for it to be doing any good. Let's see if we can get this zoomed in there. There we go. There's that camera. Let's get this camera back. There's that camera. There's what I'm shooting for. This is what we're actually going to hit. Let's start hitting it. Now that I let the coals die down, and yep, bending it back makes it so that I shouldn't be too concerned about it as long as I don't see that color come up on the thin part. And I'm just turning it in the fire to hopefully get a consistent heat across the metal that I'm trying to forge weld. It's looking like the right color in there. I'll be pulling it out in a minute. I half want the sparks and don't want the sparks, right? Sparks indicate that there's a possibility that I'm burning it, but it also means that when I do that, it'll be stuck together. I don't think there's a chance that there'll be any more metal oxide getting built up in there. And I'm not trying to reshape it at this point. I'm just giving it some love taps. All right. We're going to go with the 3 times a charm type of philosophy that I've often heard about with forge welding. We'll get it up to that temperature again. Nothing appears burnt. You think I should light flux it again? Yeah, definitely will do another welding heat. It can't hurt to light flux it. It does mean that there's a little more insurance that oxygen won't get into the crack and cause scale to form in between the layers. That's the goal of fluxing. And just in case people want to know what they mean by light fluxing, this is a powder. So I have a very small spoon for a reason. It helps prevent me overfluxing. I can't put a whole lot in this spoon. I also tip it over, and anything that was still powder after a moment falls off. And in the fire, it will flow some more. You see, it's all shiny because it's coated. You can't have it, air can't do anything where it's coated. The outside there really doesn't matter to be coated. What you really want is to have it so that that flows down into the crack, into the seam that you're trying to close and bond. Ah, I did not know that. Thank you, Adam. So, in case people aren't reading, the flux not only prevents the oxygen getting in there and creating scale, it'll draw out the scale that might be in there. And he's right, because it does help the metal flow. I mean, of course he's right. He's more accomplished at this than I am. And not only is he accomplished at it, he's studied at it. If you didn't know, I think everybody except my brother maybe in the stream right now knows Adam is a historian and published author on the topic of historical blacksmithing. Adam being Speargrass Forge, for those also not in the know. Adam is also one of the hosts of the Impractical Blacksmiths, a weekly podcast and live stream over on Island Metal Forge, where they like to talk about all things blacksmithing, especially over the last year, things about historical blacksmithing. I think that's mainly because Adam is so well versed in the historical aspects. But there's also been other times where Alexis talks about metallurgical aspects of blacksmithing. And then Yamez, very similar to his name, yammers about it, whatever actually causes a laugh to happen. So, yeah, Yamez is a fun fellow who also blacksmiths. And occasionally, when somebody puts him up to it, will talk about the finer things of the history or the topic at hand, not just goof off about it. But it's his channel that started all of the community we find on this channel. All right. That is freaking hot. Ask me how I know. I'm pretty sure if my skin rubbed it, it would not be on my hand anymore. That's looking pretty freaking good. We'll do it one more time because 3 times the charm. For all those superstitious folks out there, I'm not that person. But what I do know is repetition oftentimes results in improvement. And that's what we're shooting for here. This bubble indicates basically it cooked and trapped some moisture that was in the oh darn it, detergent. This flux, because Jade probably doesn't know this, is just what is it, 2050 Mule Team borax soap. All right. If you're watching in the fire cam, the forge cam, you're seeing huge chunks. What that is the coal cooked up real nice into big old chunks of coke. And I'm using it as a cap to keep the heat under it. Basically, big insulator. Because this stuff is mostly air. Matter of fact, if I stop blowing fire at my face, I can actually touch the stuff briefly and throw it back in because it's not nearly as hot as you might think. It's hot. I feel it. But that's how much insulation there is. Hey, Thomas. Welcome to the party. That's right. Ben did. Big Dog did. Tim just lives right down the road with me, and one day I might actually figure out how to find time to get over and do something with him because he's already agreed it would be something we could do. But I think, I know he's had, some time. His time's been taken up pretty heavily by something or other. And there went the camera. Oh, I know what's going on. I'm the dummy there, guys. It is not the USB port. It is Jack forgetting that this camera has a shortcoming that I have to use the physical hack for, or the camera basically says, you're not doing anything with me. The physical hack is to tell it to auto. There we go. And now it shouldn't go off again. You're absolutely right, Rob. I should have thought about that, and I have the hammer to do it with. I just completely forgot. Take care, Jay. Love you. Trim some donkeys. Mine's probably needs a trim here soon. She's been walking around in mud. Ben, you working on that lock project? That one looked like a good challenge. Got this mic wire wanting to move on me into a place that it should not be. Let's see if I can prevent that. There we go. So I've got another hobby these days, 3D printing. And this Band-Aid is not doing much good anymore. But sliced my finger good with the little nippers that the printer came with. It's got a pretty sharp point for taking off supports and stuff. I was taking off the supports of a little chibi Godzilla. My wife's a huge Godzilla fan. Been trying to print this chibi Godzilla for a while, but the design of it has areas that supports just can't get into, and yet the supports are absolutely necessary. I think I'm going to have to scale it up just to be able to have good supports. We'll see. But yeah, keep reaching over here to adjust this Band-Aid on my finger that keeps wanting to come off. Yeah, I got myself an Ender 3 S1, and the reason I did is because Ender 3 is just, you know, an industry standard when it comes um, to what's been out there for forever, what everybody bases their designs on, etc. Um, but yeah, it's not fast. I did get the one, one that had some various upgrades to it that make quality of life a little bit better for this newbie who doesn't want to be losing all his time on the hobby. But it turns out there's still a lot of ways things can go wrong. So still plenty of opportunity to be frustrated by the hobby and learn and grow and get better and find better ways of doing things, etc. You're a lock picker as well, Ben? I looked at that project, Thomas, and I was like, I could do that, but I would have to actually organize my thoughts a lot, and I just don't have the spare capacity for that yet. All right, last tappity tap. So, per coffee, there's a couple of different ways to get power out of your hammer, right? You can go heavy, or you can actually swing it. In this case, since I got a heavy hammer, I just haven't been swinging it. I've been basically letting it drop of its own accord, and as I really don't want power here, I just want a tad bit of force to convince the atoms that they actually want to be together. That is it. That is three goes. If it isn't forge welded at this point, I probably have something in there that's goofing it up. And the biggest concern about whether it forge welded or not isn't even in the area that I'm messing with. It's in the long pokey part that I probably should have not had that long. I'm trying to decide if I need to cut off some of that, to be honest. I think what I'm going to do is start tapering it, and then we can decide if I need to cut it off because the taper will be way too long or something. And then we'll pry that up, bend it back, and that part will be done. Let's do it. Let's do it. A millwright. Nifty. That's true. I could always do a little curve just to make it a little bit more ornamental too. You're absolutely right. We'll do just like we did for the other one. We'll do four-sided taper in the hopes of getting a nice squish out instead of a fold over. No fish lips here, please. All right. Let's get it so it's square first before I worry about any going rotatey on it. That's better. That's better. All right. Back into the fire. Yep. Avoid the notch effect. Yeah, because it's a proven fact. The Australians are upside down. I don't know how all the blood doesn't rush to their heads. I just realized I haven't dropped anything, and so I'm sitting here dying of thirst and. Yeah. Forge weld with a radius? No, I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about there. Good coffee. All right. There we go. I will tell you, that process is killer. And if that's the Brazil process, I am really impressed. Oh my goodness. I don't know where I saw it. I don't know if it was Alec that I saw it from or the what's the name of his channel? Come on, he deserves recognition. Oh, the one that does all the Nordic type stuff these days. Beginner projects with Nordic Flare. I think I've seen him using that quite a bit too. And the fact is, it doesn't need to be sharp. So again, I think we'll stop there as far as that's concerned. But I agree with Adam. I may end up having to do a little decorative drop bend in it. Much like it's already showing like it wants to do anyway. Let's go ahead and get it back in the fire. Looks pretty good though. They typically do at this point. All right. At this point, Australians at the top of the world. No sharp angles and edges between the bar and the arms. That sounds impossible. Yeah, that's exactly right. I knew he had taken his courses because he gave a lot of credit to Brian on his channel when he was all about basically going to go here. Can you hear me now? I know you can, because I can see it. Clang, clang, clang. So I've got to figure out if this thing's under warranty or not. But the Rode receiver has decided to not hold as much power as it once did. We're only halfway through the show and it's dead. So I am disappointed. I'm not angry with you. I'm just disappointed. Let me see if I have a. Because there's a chance these ears could go out too while I'm doing this, and I don't want to have that happen. All right. That might do the trick. Let's give it a try and see if it'll charge. Charge it. I don't see any indication that it's charging from that. Doo-doo-doo. Well, you know what? I can't tell. Let's see if I disappear again here in a little bit. Plug this back in. It still has juice. Pretty sure I charged all these up last week, so should be good, but we'll see. We'll go back here. We will go to properties again. We will go ahead and say default and we hit OK. Ta-da. The mic is roughly, so I got them. I've been live streaming now for about a year and a half. So the mic would be about a year and a half old. Yeah. Am I getting a raise? Is that what you're saying, Ben? Or are we giving Rob a raise for actually narrating the live stream? All right. Normally, this Rode mic lasts for about. It's been lasting for about 2.5 hours. But as time has gone on, it's gotten a lot shorter. And are we? Nope, we're still good. Okay. Hey, Roy. I mean, you're a little late. I had used Flux about 30 minutes ago. We were all talking chatter about Flux and whether it hurts your forge and whether it's hot metal glue. But I kept the faith, Roy. I told him it's not hot metal glue. Have a great week, Ben. Take care of yourself and your family. Travel time. Let's not burn it up. Just need it hot. We're not forge welding at this point. We're just making a prettier taper. Am I using the correct side? I am. I'm using Roy's least favorite hammer style. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a card up. No, I won't. Does anybody ever do that? Does anybody ever actually put cards up to other people's channels? I think they do, right? I know I would. So much stuff I've learned from other people's channels. All right. I think that's about enough futzing around with that. We'll decide if we bend that a little bit once we open it up and look at it a little. It is time to start heating the part I'm most afraid to heat up because I could burn it right off. But it has to be done. All right. Let's see if we can get a view of this that's useful to y'all. Tilt up. We'll give it a turn. We'll lie to the camera and tell it we're actually looking there. Hey, look at that. And we're getting ready. White welding dust. I would call it white antioxidant. There we go. Excluding software are covered by a limited warranty for 1 year from the date of purchase. Yeah, that's what I suspected. I guess this is an annual expense if I'm not careful. I don't know what careful is. Or I can find out if there's a way to replace the battery in these things. I thought you said you had to go, Ben. I just wouldn't recommend the oral ingestion of this particular antioxidant. It could lead to some untimely expiration of one's personal health. Yeah, that's what I am an electronics repairer of my own accord. So what I end up doing is seeing if somebody documented on YouTube how to disassemble a thing, and I'll fix it. I just had to do that with my Microsoft Sculpt ergonomic mouse. Mouse wheel decided to stop working. So now I had to figure out, can I actually open this thing up without breaking the plastics? And I did. Oh, Roy, I did actually call you. Use your name uh, um, uh, respect when talking about how I'm going to get the fire hot before I put the metal in. When it comes to forge welding, at least, I don't have that problem where you're burning up your fuel. Considering I have to hand crank, but let's see if we can bend this up and not be in the way of the camera when doing it. All right. These are weak compared to what I got to work with. I'm going to go ahead and put it back in the fire, though. I really want to see if when I pull on it pretty good, I end up breaking the weld, and I don't think I will, but there we go. Because so far, it's still fine where the weld was. Of course, you can't see it very well, but yeah, we'll get it right. Punch him in the ankle. The little man might be able to jump a little higher than his ankle, though. So be careful. I'd wear a cup. Make you poop clean, real clean. Yay! Renew channel. I love that channel. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I can put it in face down instead of, I mean, a point down instead of point up. Yeah, let's do that. Thanks, Roy. We'll just continue to support it right there. Sadly, I can't put it right in the middle because the point is just that much too long. Let's see about grabbing it now. There we go. All right. Now, that's definitely welded. It does not want to peel away. Yay! I did a thing. All right. I think we can bring this back over here. I don't think I need to go back over there again for anything. Do, do, do. There we go. Convince it that it should focus on the right thing. There we go. Draw back a little because I'm on the other side of it. Get that out of the way. Show off the work. There we go. I have no reason to believe that's going to go anywhere. Move out of the way. Got a plastic straw cup, metal straw. Yeah, whatever. I have the metal straw. I have the metal straw rubber cover in my mouth that acts as my fake finger for the camera. But yeah, it didn't want to pull away, so that's a good seam line that's barely visible all the way up to there. We got a good forge weld. Very, very happy with that. Real simple project for anybody who wants to practice doing their forge welding because they don't have to hold anything together. They don't have to do any freaking dropping of tongs. And yet they get the experience of what does it take temperature wise, just how much or do you have to worry about the oxygen and fluxing for it? How hard do you hit it before you actually are moving metal instead of just making it stick? All the kind of things you need to practice. And then I will end up doing a basket handle on this thing at some point in the near future. And I'm pretty sure that what is known as a faggot weld, not to be confused with the slur, but because a bundle of sticks is known as a faggot. That'll be done next for the basket uh, handle. That's the forged basket handle. Then we'll have to do the drop tongs forge when we go and put the meet the two of them together. So I got at least one more live stream worth of content to do here. Yeah, they do. They feel really good. Multi-bar scrolls. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I could see that. And I definitely want to get into doing that, Roy. So scrolling back to see what else you said. Your shin knee is in danger. That's right. You're absolutely right, Roy. If you're pulling on a recently welded thing, that if that thing isn't like absolutely perfectly welded through and through, it's the weakest spot still. You could have a weld, but if it hasn't become one piece of metal, which there's a good chance it hasn't, um, it is definitely where um, you've got your weakest point. Plus, there is the crack there. That is where the two pieces came together and didn't join on purpose, and that's a stress riser. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Just explaining that mainly so that I have it in my head. Multi-bar scrolls. Okay, got it. I do not yet have a V block, so I guess I need to make that next, and that's pretty easy. I've got a piece of 3/4 inch um, here. I also have. Do I still have? I still have. Yes, I do. Let me go get down there and grab it. I have the remainder of that jackhammer bit that I can forge into the 1 inch square I need for, or do I have a 1 inch? No, I don't have 1 inch square. I can forge weld it into the 1 inch square I need to go into the hardy hole just so it doesn't go wandering around my anvil. And then weld those pieces together, and I should have a V block. Um, yeah, yeah. So I definitely have to do that, which means I have pre work to do, which means we'll see if it's done next week or not. It will be in a live stream. It just may not be next week's live stream. See what Roy's not here often enough to have learned that I basically get 2 hours a week to do whatever I want for myself, and instead of taking care of you know the family, taking care of animals, and doing my 50-hour a week um, or more um, job that pays the bills. So, oh yeah, there we go. We're getting good. With making sure I'm not burning off the tip. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I hadn't. I knew there was something I needed to do. One of the ideas was I could use this as my V block. I think I've seen it done before, and it is tempting to try it. But the smarter move would be to just have one that sits on top, so it's easier to hammer um, straight into it, up and down. Nice little tappity taps. And I've got some. Um, I think this is 1/8 inch round stock. I don't have my caliper out. Oh well, let's grab this piece instead. My hook ruler. Pretty sure it's 1/8 inch. Oh no, I'm wrong. It's 1/4 inch. That's even better. So I've got this 1/4 inch round stock for doing it with. I would just need to cut into what 7 inch lengths. I think I would go 6, except that I think that I want to have some. I'd like to have most of the 6 inches as the handle itself instead of the parts that get welded together. So 7 inches, I think. That's not in the fire at all. Let's get that back in there. Basket twists, exactly. Are we now calling it a bundle weld instead? That's cool. I don't mind changing the name. kids and animals interchangeably, depending on the time of the day of the week. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and let's see. What do I want to do here? And I'm going to go ahead and bend that just a little more. And then we'll go ahead and it's all bending at this point. There's no forging. That looks really good. I like it. If I do say so myself, which I do, because I like it. That's what matters, right? Got a little twist in there. Had to get the little twist out. Easy peasy. All right. And then, what do I think? I do think I will put a little decorative bend, because it is a bit longer than it needs to be, in here. Now, just got to remember, which way does that bend go? I think it drops down and then back up again to make it look the best. If not, I'll end up flipping it. All right, let's set the jackhammer bit down here on the side so I can grab it pretty quickly. Do we still have sound? We do. Okay, so I guess the alternative for the time being is just to plug in the receiver, at least until the transmitter dies. So we were supposed to work on cleaning up the chicken run yesterday and spreading, I think they call it hog's fuel, which is basically, I guess, some kind of wood chips. And then building 2 more enclosed chicken runs in preparation for what we expect to be, because it happens typically this time of year, our first snow, so that the chickens have a place to get out of the that's probably overkill. We'll end up pulling it back when I bend it back the other way. But we had a yep, I was right about the direction. That's good. We had ourselves a windstorm again and a lot of rain. And it seemed like a bad idea for my neighbor to bring over her tractor and maybe get it ripping up too much in the way of. Oh yeah, that looks good. Oh, I like it. Sorry, Adam. Probably sounded like a bad Australian accent. That wasn't the intent. It was just supposed to be a bad accent. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty. I like it. Okay, that's the end of phase 1. I could definitely put a decorative twist in here. I have to think about doing that real quick. How much time do I have before I have to say adieu to all you fine folks? I got 20 minutes. That's long enough to put a twist in. Let's see if we can get some get a twist and a reverse twist in there. And that's central. You can't tell it's central from there. That's pretty central. Yeah, that looks good. Little decorative bend. You take care too, Roy. Thanks for stopping in. All right, where do I want the twists to be? They're just decorative. It really doesn't matter. Let's see about putting one there. And then maybe a temporary handle on here that just yeah, I got an idea what I can do for a temporary handle. Now this is really as half, what did I say this was? Half inch, yeah. Half inch is probably heavier than most people would want for a fire poker. 3 feet of half inch isn't light, but it's not too heavy. I've been working with it all this time, so I should know. There we go. You wouldn't end up thinning out the middle part a bit there, Adam? Lighten it up. A decorative bend. I thought a decorative bend was known as a garden gnome. All right, do this part again because the interesting stuff's going to be that way. There it is. I knew I'd find it. All right, there we go. I'll grab my bending wrench, my twisting wrench, I should say. It's not a bending wrench. That I still need to make. Make sure it's sized right. Yeah, we can get a twist on that. Easy peasy. There's half. And there's a hole. I'm going to bring it around again. Another half. And 2 twists. Ah, ah, ah. There we go. Bring it over here. Give it a brush. Enjoy the fact that it is mild steel, because in a moment I can just wallop it with this to get it straight and then cool it off so I can do my other twist. I don't even need to quench it and cool it off. It's cooled off pretty quickly all on its own. All right. Put it a little deeper in the fire. There we go. Pull that Coke cave that I've created here back over top. Heat that part up. Three feet a half inch. Okay, good. That's what I was wanting to know. 56 an hour. I don't know, Ben, but the candy I can definitely do. I have a constipated looking turkey. Oh my gosh. I know which one you're talking about. He was the one that was doing the turkey dance. You're not a turkey. Conversionists. Okay, I'm gonna bring it over here, cool off the part I don't want to move. It'll creep back up, but that's okay. Lock it in the jaw and twist it in the opposite direction. There's one and two. Still can touch the outside bar, so I'm good there. Let's throw the camera on the ground again because heavens knows that's fun. Break all the cables. I'll be buying new cables this week. You didn't want to see the fire cam anymore anyway. I know you guys. Straighten the bar a bit. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. Last thing to do with this, I can wait until next live stream to finish that part up, because I will go ahead and do a real simple handle on this. I've decided what the handle was just whilst being here. Bring this back around so I can describe it. And then back down here. Yeah. That looks good enough. Tell it that it wants to actually see that instead of what it's trying to stare at. All right, there we go. Don't need the hammer anymore. Pretty sure we're at the top of the, getting close to the top of the hour, so. Just doing a poor man's wire wheeling of this thing right now. But we got ourselves a nice decorative twist, because why be plain if you can be decorative? I'm not a Quaker. All right. And so then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and cool this all off so I can actually handle it and talk about it. Yep, we're good. it's still coming out steaming, I'm putting it back in. All right, good. So we got ourselves done on the working end. We got ourselves done with a bit of decorative work before, and until I can get around to doing the um, basket, um, twisted basket handle. I'm going to go ahead, I think, and I will do like we would with a blacksmith's knife. Pull this back over here so it's easier to see. And I think I'm going to fishtail this end, scroll it this way just a little bit, not a lot, not a real scroll, but just a little bit back. And then bring this around to, you know, at a point that it makes sense. Break the corners first, but then bring it around. And that will then be, a nice handle that has the leverage necessary to be able to work the poker. Now, the thing I have to think about, because I just said that opposite of now what I think I'm going to do, is this end. I was actually facing this end up, but that's not how it gets used. It gets used facing down. So that means I have to do it same exact thing, just opposite. So fishtail, scroll back this way, flip it back this way after I break the corners, and then I will have a handle that will feel nicer in the hand and allow me to pivot when pulling or pushing. So that'll be the beginning of next live stream. We'll go ahead and take this in so that my father-in-law gets to enjoy seeing what it is I've been doing out here for the last couple hours. It's always fun to share that with him. He can't get up and around, so we bring it to him. But that's the end of that. This episode. We'll go ahead and switch to the Smithy, where I'm going to rinse my hands off while seeing what the channel was saying. Goodness. Chris Schaefer. Wow. Thanks for dropping in here, man. I didn't realize it was you that said that about my turkey. 56 cents an hour. Now that I might be able to pull off. I think that's well worth that is a steal, even with the candy. I might be able to. We got to talk later, Ben. Doing all the conversions taking too long, huh? Ate the paper towel. Oh my god, didn't regret a thing. Oh, Shane. Attack turkey. I don't have any of those. Sorry, Ben. Riding it to work. Mounted attack turkey. That's awesome. You did it again, Ben. You're not supposed to talk about that. Oh, good, Daniel. I'm glad you got to see it. Same Bat Jack time, same Bat Jack channel next week. Yep, that is the truth, Kevin. And with that, folks, closer to the border, forget the turkey. If you want to ride into battle, get yourself a Canadian Cobra chicken. All right, everybody. Be well. And as always, love and light. There you go, Jurgen. You got to hear it at least.